this fear that love is going to interrupt or disrupt your peace, it's based on a lie, because you're relating to love not like an opportunity. You're relating to love like a liability. You didn't get to where you are in your career by shrinking back, by avoiding risk, by pretending that you don't want what you want. You didn't get all your degrees and certificates and titles by staying in your comfort zone. You did what it took to accomplish all of those things. So why is it that when it comes to the most important part of the human experience, which is loving connection, are you suddenly satisfied with fine? Fine is how you end up 70 years old in a beautiful house and a heart that never got to finish and experience its love story. Hello again, this is Michelle from Heart's Desire International, and I want to start today's love chat by sharing a story with you, and then we're going to get into the meat and bones of today, because this is very pertinent and it's something that happens often, but this one I really felt compelled to share it with you today. So I was talking a few weeks ago with someone, let's call her Sarah, all right, just so she remains private. And Sarah, on the phone, I learned she has everything. She has a great business. She has a wonderful family. She has a lot of respect from the people around her. She's financially free. And she responded to one of our messages, and she told me, she said, when I started talking to her about love, and she said, and she said this with a very firm tone. She said, I've finally reached a place where I don't need anyone. My life is peaceful. My schedule is mine. I do what I want. And honestly, love just isn't a priority for me right now. And I listened and I heard what she said. And then I asked her a question. I said, Sarah, let me ask you something. Is what you're feeling really peace? Or is it just that you finally built a world that is small enough and contained enough that you can control and nobody can hurt you? And she went silent. And that's what we're here for today. This is what I want to share with you today. Welcome to Love Chat with the Love Twins. Today we're stopping the lies. I'm just going to be that blunt with it. We're going to be talking about the peace trap. We're going to be talking about how high achieving, I've got it handle women like you have used success to build this fortress that no one can get through, and then call it independence or call it peace. And if you've heard yourself saying things like, I'm fine alone, I have other priorities, then this is the conversation that you've probably been avoiding. We're going to lean into it today. We're not going to avoid it anymore. Thinking back to Sarah, she spent 10 years climbing the corporate ladder, then starting her own business. She survived a divorce that left her gutted, in her own words. And she made herself a promise. She was never going to get caught off guard again. She was never going to get hurt that way again. And so she did what a lot of successful women do. She started optimizing her life outside of love. And what that looks like is she filled her calendar with, fun and enriching things to do. She'd go to the gym at 6 a.m. She'd be at work right on the dot by 8:50 in the morning. She'd have dinner with friends planned many nights at 7 p.m. And her life became a masterpiece of control. A masterpiece of being able to know exactly what was going to happen and when. But in that conversation, she admitted something to me in the middle of that session. She said, as we kept talking, she said, honestly, sometimes I stay in the office if I don't have dinner with my friends at 7 until 8 o'clock at night, but it's not always because I have work to do. It's because I hate going home to an empty house. And that's where she started to see that her peace was actually a facade. It wasn't that she was prioritizing herself. It's that she was hiding from feeling the pain that it felt like every time she walked into an empty house. And she was so terrified of being hurt again, and so terrified about what she was considering a disruption, that bringing a man into her life would disrupt her life, her perfectly scheduled life, and the unpredictability of it, the vulnerability that it would require from her, and the potential for another letdown really had her be a moving target. Like, she was just so in her fears that that's exactly what she was afraid she was going to get. And that's what she kept getting. And that's what she had said, you know what, I'm just going to close the door on this. And she created that fortress. So for how many of you does that sound familiar? And this is going to require telling yourself the truth by considering that it's not that you're staying busy, but if you pull back that layer, you're staying unavailable. It's like you've created a life that is so full that even, a king couldn't find a place to sit down. And then in your heart, you know that you want a partner to spend your life with, but your life is sending a 24/7 broadcast that says no vacancy, no availability. Yeah, I hear some of you are saying, yeah, I got it. Yep, me. So I want you to hear me when I say this to you. And I'm saying this with a lot of love and a lot of honesty. The status quo that you're defending is a slow moving tragedy. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I want you to really get that you're trading the possibility of experiencing true love and extraordinary love with an amazing partner who is right for you for the guarantee of being safely alone. It's like waving a white flag of surrender. The fear that you are feeling inside, this fear that love is going to interrupt or disrupt your peace, it's based on a lie, because you're relating to love not like an opportunity. You're relating to love like a liability. You're relating to having a man in your life like one more thing to manage, or even for some of you, one more thing to survive. And it's all based on your past. And maybe in the past that was true, but we're not in the past right now. Maybe you have spent your life or a big portion of your life being the anchor for people who didn't deserve it in the past. But I want you to consider that today you could experience a different reality. Because when you shift from protecting yourself and protecting your peace and protecting your space to being able to trust yourself in love, everything changes. All the math changes, all the variables change, it all changes. Because the connection, and when we talk about connection, we mean a real connection with someone who you're very aligned with, someone who is a great match for the kind of woman that you are today, not the one you were when you got your heart broken, but the woman that you are today, and even the one that you're becoming. And that it's so aligned with your values and it's so aligned with what you have envisioned that it just clicks. And it's not there to complete your life. You've already completed your life. You've already got a great life. I'm talking about that kind of connection that just clicks and it expands your life. Your life grows because of it. And it's not about just wanting somebody to be there when you come home to tell your stories to, or to fix, the toilet when it breaks, or help you pay some bills. That's a very ordinary conversation. I'm talking about something extraordinary, something about allowing it to come into your life, an already full life that can finally be shared with the right person. And when you allow that kind of connection into your life, then it doesn't disrupt your peace. It actually deepens your peace. The actual experience of peace, not control, but peace. When you're at peace, things are in flow, you feel calm, you feel grounded, you feel secure in yourself. Not like you have to hold everything in place or it's all going to fall apart. That's not peace. I'm talking about the real experience of peace. And a high-level man is going to be able to bring some peace into your life. And he's not going to be an interruption to your schedule. He's not going to be an interruption to your life. He is going to add to your life. And together, life expands. And I know this is possible because I experience it every day. The other day, I had a really, really tough day. And it just felt like nothing was going right. And I got some bad news about the health of somebody that I love. And I already have bad news about somebody else that I love's health. And it just, things weren't going well that day. And I was really stressed and hadn't slept well. And I just broke down in tears. And I told Arnie, I'm going to go take a shower because sometimes, I don't know, just being in the shower makes me feel better. And when I came out, I said, we were having a conversation. I said, I really would like to pause this conversation. It's really important. But right now, I don't have the emotional capacity to have it. And I want to give it the attention that it deserves. And you know what he said? Come here. And he held me and I just let it out. And it felt so safe in his arms. It didn't feel like I couldn't handle it by myself. It felt like, thank goodness, I don't have to handle it by myself. That's what I mean by expansion. So the shift that you get to start making today isn't about trying to find him. And it's certainly not about waiting for him to pick you or choose you, because that's not what this is about. What it is about tearing down the walls that you've been calling boundaries. And if you tell the truth, they're walls, so that you can actually be reached. So that you can actually be recognized, seen, experienced by someone who's a great match for you. But you're not going to find that. You're not going to experience that. You're not even going to call that to you hiding behind a wall in a perfectly scheduled life. Because this is about realizing, and I want you to hear me when I say this, because I'm saying this with everything I have inside. Your soul was not built for status quo. Your soul was built for extraordinary. And behind the walls that have been built, that's where extraordinary lives. All right. So I want to just for a moment go back to this priority lie one more time. Because if you tell me that love isn't a priority, then you're telling me that you're giving up. You're telling me that The fear of potentially being hurt is more powerful than the desire that you have to experience and be loved the way that you know you want to be loved. And my question to you is that who you are? Are you the woman who's going to play it so safe and so small that you shrink away from what it is that you actually want to experience? I don't think so. You wouldn't be here if that was you. You wouldn't get to where you are in your career by shrinking back, by avoiding risk, by hiding out, by pretending that you don't want what you want. That is not how you got where you are. You didn't get all your degrees and certificates and titles by staying in your comfort zone and not stepping outside of it. You did what it took to accomplish all of those things. So why is it that when it comes to the most important part of the human experience, which is loving connection, the heart, are you suddenly satisfied with fine? Fine is the most dangerous word in the English language. I'm going to be straight with you. Fine is how you end up 70 years old in a beautiful house and a heart that never got to finish and experience this love story. Because it's far more painful to stay exactly where you are in this guarded, peaceful, half alive experience than it is to do the brave work, the internal work, what we call the heart work, to open up that door again with the skills and the knowledge and the work that's going to actually be able to attract somebody who's not going to be there to take advantage of you. And you can break the patterns that have had you attract guys who do that. It's far more painful to stay guarded than to do that. And to do it with somebody who knows how to do it, who's proven that they know how to do it, and who's been able to do it with thousands of women around the world. The risk of love is a drop in the bucket compared to the certain cost you're paying by staying hidden. So if you're listening to this and your chest feels tight, good. That's your heart waking up. That's your heart waking up. You've spent years building this fortress, this protective wall, and it's going to take more than a 20-minute live stream to take it down. To tell you otherwise would be to be lying to you and adding to the lies, which I'm not here for. What you need is to look at the blueprints of that wall and figure out exactly why you're so afraid to let it come down. And you also need to know how to bring it down safely and still be you. Because I don't want you to spend another Tuesday night telling yourself that you're at peace when you're actually just isolating and controlling. That's not my mission. That's not what I'm here for. I want you to start telling yourself the truth. I want you to experience everything that your heart and soul were created to experience. And I want you to book a love breakthrough call. Now, this is for people who've never had a call before. If you've had a call before, you would only book this call if you are ready to take action in your love life, because this isn't a chat. It's not just something you're going to talk about and live your past and stir up the story over and over again. That's not what it's for. Okay. The love breakthrough call is a deep dive into the truth of why a woman as powerful as you is still standing behind a locked door. And it's going to give us an opportunity to look at your life and find the exact spot where you decided that it is safer to be alone than to be loved. And we're going to show you how to break through that. Because if you knew how to do it, you would have done it already. And so sometimes you just need support, being able to move the veil back and see what's actually there. Some people have another misconception, which is we're all supposed to know how to do this thing called love. Well, some people do and some people don't. Just like some people have an uncanny ability for marketing or an uncanny ability for cooking or an uncanny ability to build buildings. And that's not me. I needed support with it. I needed to figure it out. And I've made it, and Gladys has made it her life mission, my life mission, to support other women in doing that. Because nobody has to be 70, 80, 60, or 50 years old wishing they had the love life that they want. Nobody has to do that. Not if we have anything to say about it, and we have a lot to say about it. So click on the link that we dropped in the chat or in the comments and book your love breakthrough call. And stop defending your loneliness. Stop calling the walls peace. Your life is already full. Now it's time to make it extraordinary. And you can only do that when you take an action that's aligned with what you're really committed to. And I say, have your commitment come through and start chipping at that wall. And let's see what's actually possible when you stop hiding and when you have support. This is such an important topic. I see so many women hiding behind, it's my business, it's my kids, it's school, life's, crazy right now. And the truth is, I'm not getting any younger, and neither are you. And this isn't about fear. But if you want to start living the love you want, now is the moment to start. Now is the moment to start. So, one last thing before I wrap this up. I know that you may be tempted to click away and go back to your perfectly fine evening. And I know that you may be tempted to tell yourself, I'll look into that later, or I'm just not ready yet. That would be part of the old dialogue running, the protective dialogue running. Don't make it wrong. Just listen to my voice. Let it override that voice. Because not ready, not now, is just another polite way of saying paralyzed. With fear, with doubt, with the not knowing how. And every day that you wait to choose what your heart truly desires is a day that you actively choose to become one day older. And it makes that wall that keeps getting built higher and higher. And it makes it more difficult to climb over, more difficult to see over, more difficult to reach you. So you were never meant to carry the weight of all of this on your own. And you don't have to. The woman who has everything but has no one to share it with is missing the point. So don't let your success or your fear be the reason you end up alone in a life where you're really wishing you had someone there with you, and years or months down the road wishing you had done it differently today when you had the opportunity. This is your opportunity. So don't let fear be the thing that keeps you from the one thing that really matters, which is love. The link is there in the chat so you can book your call. The door is open. Now it's just a matter of being brave enough to walk through it. And we're going to catch you on the other side. We're going to catch you on the other side. So I can't wait to see you on your Love Breakthrough call. And I'd love to hear your comments. Please leave us your comments. Follow us. Share this video with someone that you know it would make a difference with. Let us know what resonated with you, what touched your heart. And until our hearts meet again, always remember that you are loved. Goodbye for now.